Hi guys, welcome back once again to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always supporting this growing channel. If you're new to my channel, please do not make it your last. I hope you stick by. I'm Lauren, an international student based here in Canada. I love making lifestyle videos and videos on immigration tips. I actually have a guest today, my friend Amara. So Amara is also a YouTuber. I'm going to leave the link to her channel in the description box, so you guys to please do well to check out her channel. For today's videos, we'll be talking about cost of moving to Canada as an international student. In case you guys see me looking down, I actually have like a note here where we wrote down the points of things we want to like talk about so we don't forget them. So the first thing on the list here is admission. So Amara.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to like cost of moving to Canada, at least we are in 2023 and heading 2024. I came to Canada 16 months plus ago, so definitely the cost of admission would have changed. I'm not very sure, but what we are trying to do is to give you guys a rough estimate of the amount and what it will require and the processes that you would take if you are intending to come to Canada as an international student. So going back to admission the admission amount varies for different schools, right? But just know that it's typically between $100 to $250. Like any school in Canada would typically charge about $100 or $150 or $200 or $250, and it also depends on your program, okay, and what program, what course. Like when I talk about program, I mean undergraduate, masters, and stuff like that. They might PhD, they might have different amount. As a master's, I'm doing my master's here in Canada, so when I applied, I paid just $100 for application fee in the University of Regina, Saskatchewan. I don't know how much they currently charge, but I think it's still about the same amount. Yes, still about the same amount, or at most currently it will be like $120. So we want you guys to have your pens down, because we're not going to be doing the maths for you, but we are saying it, you're just going to be taking it down so that at the end of this video you can kind of have a rough estimate of the cost of moving to Canada. So I would say to get admission in any school in Canada, it would probably be between $100 to $150.
Okay. Next thing on our list is IELTS. So I actually have a friend that will be writing his IELTS next week. I think he paid around, I'm not really sure of the exact amount, but it should be around 80,000 to 100,000 naira. Yeah, so IELTS is another like cost that you should put into consideration when you're like trying to make a rough estimate of the amounts you'll be spending when you're relocating to Canada. I don't really think IELTS is like a requirement or something. For some countries, countries are exempted from writing IELTS, like Nigeria. Like personally, I didn't write my IELTS before I came here, though I intend writing by next month, but then I don't think you must actually like write your IELTS before you come down here in Canada.
Yeah, that's actually true, because they know that Nigerians and some other countries already have English as their first language. That is when you're looking for your admission, you have to read through the admission requirement and see the things that you are supposed to provide for that admission, right? So if IELTS is there, that means you're going to be spending money on IELTS. But if IELTS is not there, that means that money has been waived. Then the second part of IELTS is for visa. If you want to take a visa route like the NSC, the Nigerian Student Express visa route, it is required that you must write IELTS. Is one of the requirements. So in that case, you cannot escape it. I took that route. I had to write IELTS. Already, I had gotten my admission without IELTS, but I had to write IELTS now for my visa, not for my admission. So I don't know if you guys get. So those are the ways that IELTS might come into your application. Okay,
the next thing we have here should be the cost of visa.
For your visa, you're going to be spending, and then again, if you're using an agent, all this amount we are giving is like minus agency fee.
Exactly. That if you're doing the application yourself.
If you're using an agent, you already know that you should be adding the cost that the agent had charged you. But if you're doing your visa by yourself, as at the last time that I did a bit of research about visa, you're basically paying your visa fee, and visa fee is currently, I don't know if it has increased. When I paid just like 16 months ago was like $100, but we are not very sure if it has changed. But if it had changed, it's not going to be more than $150. So that is an estimate, and you can also like Google this, like, do you understand, and just confirm. So when it comes to your visa cost is definitely not the only amount you're paying. You're paying other bills like your biometric bill, your medical bills. If you want to do like this police clearance report, you have to pay for it. Medicals, it's relative, because the last time that I did my medicals, I spent about 40 something. I don't even know how to say naira again. 40,000 something.
Oh yeah, it has gone up. I think
40,000 something.
60 something.
You paid 60 something. Imagine. So for your medicals, just be
70.
just be budgeting 70 to 100,000.
Yeah.
All right. And for your biometrics too. Biometrics, when I paid, was very cheap. I think I paid like 18,000. But currently, just be budgeting around 20 to 40,000, honestly, because inflation is everywhere, and of course Nigeria, their own inflation is like double. So you just be budgeting around that amount. And if you have to travel down to, maybe if you stay in a place like Port Harcourt, I know that in Port Harcourt there is no VSF office. You have to travel down, you have to travel down to Abuja or Lagos. You have to put the cost of that into consideration. And the police report, when I did my police report, I paid just 10,000. But someone was telling me that they paid like a ridiculous amount of money that I've never, like 100K. I was amazed. You see, so these are the basic costs that you're going to be incurring with your visa. But bear in mind that other things might come up along the way. And if you're using an agent for your visa as well, most agents charge a ridiculous amount of money now. So you have to also put that in consideration. For me, the cost of applying for visa is not even like, it's not that expensive. You might not even spend more than 300 to 400,000 Nigerian money, right? Yeah. But if you're not using an agent,
millions.
The agent might be charging you 1 million for that. And these things are things you can actually do
by yourself.
If you actually research.
Next thing we'll be talking about is the cost of tuition, and I think this actually depends on the institution you'll be going to, because University of Regina might be charging $1,000, another school might be charging $20,000 or $50,000. So this is another thing we have to like put into consideration.
Yeah, it's true. Like, the cost of tuition is actually the main point of this whole thing, because all this other money that you've paid in the whole process is money too, but the bulk of the money goes into your tuition, right? So you have to make sure that you can actually fund your education here, or at least have a sustainable plan to fund your education here before you even go ahead and start stressing yourself. It's a work of faith. You can walk by faith, but also just have plans. Okay, so for the cost of tuition, it's going to vary, like Lauren said. It's going to vary for different courses, different programs, different provinces. All right, some bigger provinces with higher cost of living might have schools that are more expensive. As a matter of fact, let's say you're studying law in York University in Toronto, and you're paying a certain amount. If you're doing that same program in a province like Manitoba, you might be paying way cheaper, right? Just because of the differences in standard of living and the cost of living in the province. So that is why I advise students, if you want to apply for admission, it would be good to like look at your budget, know how much your family and yourself can afford before you apply for it. You don't want to apply to waste time, waste money, and apply to a school that you already know that you can't pay the tuition. Why not just apply to a school that you can really truly afford, right? So you can start looking at provinces like Saskatchewan, provinces like Manitoba, Newfoundland, even Nova Scotia. Like, there are so many other provinces that would offer cheaper programs and stuff like that. And also within a university, there's also priced differences. It's not because you're University of, let me say, University of Regina in Saskatchewan, or University of Regina, the cost of tuition for a particular program would be like, let's say you were doing your program in economics, it won't be the same with someone that is in their economy or majoring in psychology. So it's going to be different. Okay, it's going to be different costs. So also when you're looking at the school, you're going to also be looking at the course you're picking. I know a lot of people want to do a certain course, but some people will be like, this course, me, I cannot pay the tuition, or they will decide to go for
Yeah.
a cheaper
Yeah,
one,
true.
which like I understand. But if you have passion for a particular thing and you feel like their cost in a particular school is more expensive, you might decide to do it in another this thing. As long as you get what you're looking for, the course is the course you're studying, you love
Yeah,
what you're
true.
studying. Yeah, but there are other things you might need to consider too, like cost of living, but that's not the essence of this video.
Yeah.
Yes, but your school fees is where the money is, and it's not a math that we can do for you.
No.
It's a math that you can do for you. You would have to do for yourself.
Yeah,
How
research.
how do you find out the cost of the tuition for the school you're going to? The school website has to be your friend. You will find they have their cost in the school website.
Yeah, true.
Yep. Sometimes they charge for courses based on the credit load of the course. So you might see, they will not say this particular program or this particular course. They might be like, if you're majoring in arts, the cost of tuition for a 3-credit course is 1,500 for a semester. So you just use your head and be like, okay, you're going to be taking, if you're coming for masters, let me just use an example, you're going to be taking 2 courses. So if it's 1,500 for one course within your faculty, that means if you're taking 2, it will be around, with tax, it will be around 3,700 to 4,000. So if that's something you can afford, then you can go ahead. Yeah. And then when you get your visa or when you get your admission, another part of this course that we didn't cover is some schools will require you to pay a tuition deposit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So with that tuition deposit, you can even present it as a receipt when you're applying for your visa. Right?
Yeah.
So some schools will require you to pay a certain amount that is non-refundable or partially refundable. Yes, so that they can secure that position and be like, okay, someone has paid. For you to pay, that means you're committed, right?
True.
So they might ask you for tuition deposit.
I think all schools actually ask for that, and
I didn't. My department, my program did not ask.
Oh,
for
yeah. I had to pay like I think in our own school it was about $10,000.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I know for most programs in University of Regina, they will just, it's $500.
Really?
Like even for undergraduates, like $500 just to secure that. And then but what I did, my school did not ask for that when I applied for admission. After I got my admission, I did not pay any tuition deposit, I did not pay anything. I just went ahead to apply for my visa and I got my visa. So after my visa came out, I now decided to pay some tuition, some of my tuition, just so, like I registered for classes and paid for tuition, right? Just so I can get what we call proof of enrollment. And you can only get that proof of enrollment when you've registered for classes. And they will ask you at the immigration portal, like at the immigration border, when you are coming here for that proof of enrollment. If you don't have it,
you're not going anywhere.
It's a challenge. So I know some people are managing to navigate immigration without that document, but it's not even something I recommend. So you have to pay a certain amount of your tuition for you to be able to pass through, because they are going to ask you for enrollment, and the only way you can get it is by paying a part of your tuition.
So the next thing we'll be talking about is flights. Obviously, when you be making this fee should be when you've gotten your visa. And then I recommend getting your flight like way before your travel date, so you can get it at a cheaper date, because flight prices are like very expensive right now. I think I had to pay like 1.2 million.
When I came calculating it, it's about 1.2 now, around that figure. 1.2. That was like 16 months ago. My friend that came December said they paid 2.5 million.
For you?
It's crazy. Like if you don't start early, like you're not gonna find like cheap flights. And now flights are super expensive.
Super expensive. I think once they ask for your once you get your passport request, you should know that you've already gotten your visa. You can just like go ahead and get your tickets then to avoid paying an outrageous amount for the flight.
So the flight is also going to depend on like what airline you're using. I know that airline like Lufthansa can be a bit more expensive than Egypt Air. What was that other one? Which one did I even use? I've even forgotten the name. Ethiopia. That's one I used. Egypt. I think some of those ones are a bit more affordable compared to Lufthansa and Air France and some other one. But it can be relative. If you start early, you might find a cheap flight with Lufthansa and stuff like that. So
another thing that would depend on cost for those people that love to fly first class, business class. So.
But if you want to, but I don't do. You already pay too much money.
I'm telling you, if you want to cut cost, just go for economy.
You're already paying a lot of money.
Flight is still going to the
land
same
in Canada.
So
Yeah, so this is a typical cost of what it would like, the things that you're going to do if you're looking to move into Canada. Of course, the policies kind of change and the rules kind of change every day, so you have to be like updating. You have to make IRCC website your friend, because you have to always get the right information.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of resources on YouTube and Google
exactly.
too, right?
I think YouTube actually help very well.
Me too. So you have to actually, just like we're making this video, there are a lot of people that have also made videos around that, so also get information from there and just plan yourself. But this is just like a rough estimate of the things that you're going to do or have to do. But if you're now having to add other costs like agency and stuff like that, then you're just going to be making budget for them too.
So we've come to the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as usual, please give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you are yet to do so. I promise to post. I have lots of amazing content coming up.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on my
later.
Right.
Bye.